My friend Bill Lockwood is here. It's the last Tuesday of the month. And Bill is one of the smartest white men on this side of heaven. The smartest white man. I'm telling you, folks, I'm not making this up. He's also a blogger, radio host of American Liberty with Bill Lockwood, preacher of Our Park Church of Christ in Texas, and author of an excellent book, The Study Guide Ezekiel. The Study Guide Ezekiel, the Watchman of Israel. We're going to tell you how to get it. Bill, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jesse Lee. How are you today?
All is well. Welcome back.
Well, I'm happy to be back. It's great to see you again.
That's right. Always, Bill. I want to talk to you about so many things, and also I want to make sure you respond to my biblical question before you leave today. As you know, the illegal aliens are coming from Honduran, El Salvador, Mexico, and all over that area. Right. And a mob of them are coming. The president said that he was going to use executive order to prevent illegal alien women from crossing the border into this country and having those babies and becoming citizens. The baby becomes citizens once that happens. They're called, what are those babies called, James?
Anchor babies.
Anchor babies. Anchor babies. Yeah. Is it possible for him to do that by way of executive order? Do you know?
Well, things that have turned upside down in this country. I mean, the anchor baby argument comes from the 14th Amendment, and
right.
But that does not. It was never intended to give. The original intent had nothing to do with having a child here, and if you're not a citizen of this country, and then that child becomes a citizen, that had to do with other issues. But I believe that he does have that executive power, executive authority to do it. I know that it's going to be challenged, and he's going to be. I know he's going to be taken to court on that particular issue, on the 14th Amendment and the anchor baby issue.
Well, I hope he does. I think that would be perfect to stop these women from just stepping across the border and dropping a baby, and the baby becomes citizens. It doesn't make sense at all.
No, it doesn't make sense. I mean, that wasn't the intent of the 14th Amendment. That had nothing to do with it. This is the twisting of it by liberal logic, and that has almost destroyed our the border states. I mean, it has destroyed us. And that is something that now, I mean, many people, even constitutionalists, I hear say, well, that's what it does say, that they're born in the United States, but it also has, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. It's not simply people who are born on this soil. For example, I mean, people who are here as foreign diplomats, their children that are born here do not become American citizens. The same thing with other foreign visitors that are here on state visits. They don't become American citizens when their children are born here, or the children do not become citizens. So I think that's an argument that people make regarding the anchor babies that is full of holes.
Yes. I want to talk to you about the funding of this mob of illegal aliens who are coming here. There's been speculation that George Soros is involved in funding these people, but it seemed to be a multiple of funders. It seemed well organized. Do we have any idea who's funding them?
Well, we do. I mean, we know now that it is the Latino group, People Without Borders is the translation of it. People Without Borders. That ought to scare people right there. That's an extreme leftist organization, pro-socialist organization, anti-American organization, as well as the Open Society Institute, which is George Soros' organization, as well as the Ford Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation, as well as several other groups, all of which, of course, are not only left-leaning, but they have been pro-socialist, pro-communist all throughout our history, and they have been really undermining our nation. And I think people need to ask the question, why would they be funding such a migration here? Why would they be funding that? George Soros has already overturned several nations, and these People Without Borders are for a socialist society. Now, why do people suppose that they might be funding this mass migration to the United States? It's obvious it will be the end of national sovereignty. They want no borders, and that's what they're pushing for, and they're challenging our president. They're challenging the American people right now, And we've seen pictures of them crashing gates. This is a mob.
Yeah.
And they're going to be doing the same thing here.
I don't hear much about the People Without Borders in the liberal media. They seem to cover it up. And so a lot of Americans are not familiar with this group.
No, they're not. But there are international organizations. And I'll tell you another one that's interesting and that is the United Nations has already admitted that they're assisting as well. Because as you are familiar with, Jesse, the United Nations has been against America from its inception.
Yeah.
It was actually founded by people who are pro-communist, pro-socialist, and their design was to destroy American sovereignty. And so the United Nations has even admitted, George Soros working through different UN organizations, to bring these people to the United States. And some pictures have been taken of these migrants who have bags that have U.S. aid on them. That's an organization that was created by Kennedy. And President Kennedy couldn't get the American money fast enough to the foreign countries. You know, we've funneled money through international organizations such as the International Monetary Fund, as well as others, the World Bank, and we have funded third world countries to the tune of billions and billions of dollars since the creation of the UN.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't quick enough for Kennedy. He created the United States AID, U.S. Aid Organization, which directly sent money to these foreign nations. And some of these migrants have U.S. aid bags that they're carrying. Now, people need to recognize that this is what's going on here. They know that if they storm this country, just as the Goths and the Visigoths did to Rome in ancient Rome, then Rome was no more, and it will be America no more. They're already having other caravans being organized in Honduras, in Guatemala right now. So we better stop this, and I think President Trump is the man to do it.
When I become president, the first thing I'm going to do is throw the UN out of our country. We'll have no more to do with them at all.
Oh, that would be great. I mean, they have been the enemies of the United States for as long as they have been conceived. It was conceived in clandestine operations, and I tell you what, it's an ugly organization.
It does seem that this mob of so-called caravan is forming as they come toward us. Drudge is reporting that there are 750,000 plus pending cases before the U.S. immigration courts right now. And so if these people get here and they're allowed to cross over, it's over for the country. Yeah,
if they're allowed to cross over, then not only is it just because of, some have put the estimates as high as 14,000 are on the way, but there are other caravans that are now forming by all of these leftist organizations, such as the George Soros funded organizations. They're already forming, and they're already beginning their marches. So it will be a no stopping. We might as well just say that there are no borders on this entire continent, and our country as a country will be gone. And I say to those on the other side who say, well, we need to help people, go help them. Get down there. Go. Don't ask them into my house and say, okay, now you take care of them.
That's right.
They want done.
Yeah, if they want to help them that badly, I agree with you. Go over to their country and help them there. Don't impose them on my life.
Sure, let the Jane Fondas of the world go back with Ho Chi Minh people and help them over there. Don't say, hey, open the borders here for anybody who wants to come, and then Bill Lockwood help them. No, that's not you helping them. That's me helping them. I help people already, and we do that through our church and personal, just as you do. So, yes. Yeah, that's the way to help them.
I want you to respond to the fallen Messiah. You know who that is?
Let's see, the fallen Messiah.
Barack Obama.
I figure you talked about Obama. What said he?
This is from Fox News. Obama accuses the right of fear-mongering.
They're trying to convince everybody to be afraid of a bunch of impoverished, malnourished refugees 1,000 miles away. That's the thing that is the most important thing in this election. Not health care, not whether or not folks are able to retire. Suddenly, it's this group of folks. We don't even know where they are. They're way down there. Don't fall for that kind of fear-mongering.
Amazing. I'm glad he's out there, Bill. He reminded me of the hell he put us through in the 8 years he was there.
Hey, isn't that the truth? You know what? He couldn't even fill the high school gymnasium at this point. But you know what? This is interesting. Some of the migrants have taken aid. Now, Mexico has offered them, the president of Mexico, Nieta, has offered them aid. They have a program themselves. And so they've offered them aid, and some of them, about 1,500 of them, have taken them up on that aid. But most of them, the lion's share of them, say, no, we don't want the aid from you. We don't want to settle here. We want to go on to America. We're going to soak the American taxpayer.
Amazing. Hold that thought, Bill. Hold that thought. Let me take a quick break. Bill Lockwood is here. Bill, tell the folks out, before we get back into this, I don't want to run out of time. Tell the folks how to get your radio show, read your blog posts, and all your good stuff you're doing. Get your books.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jesse.
Yes.
Well, the website is AmericanLibertyWithBillLockwood.com, and that's where the articles, the blogs are, as well as being able to purchase the book, which is Ezekiel, the Watchman of Israel. It's based upon the Old Testament book of Ezekiel, and it's a study guide. And then the radio show is American Liberty with Bill Lockwood as well. It airs out of Wichita Falls on News Talk 1290 on Saturdays at 11 a.m. And then Sundays it's in Lubbock and Abilene, in Lubbock at 790 a.m. and in Abilene it's on 1440 a.m. So that's the radio show. It's a once a week, 1 hour a week, and so much going on, but it's hard to get all of the good stuff in on 1 hour a week. We try.
Yes.
And some good guests, including yourself, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Bill. And we'll post this too, folks, on the Jesse Lee Peterson website, jesseleepeterson.com, all the Bill information and how to get in contact with him. I want to respond to the Great White Hope. President Trump points out the caravan is a big percentage of young men. Here's that soundbite.
When you look at that caravan and you look largely very, big percentage of men, young, strong, a lot of bad people in there, people that are in gangs. We don't want them in this country. If they want to come into the country, you have to apply like other people. We have millions of people coming in. They're applying. They're coming in legally.
That's right. The liberals are trying to pretend like this is a bunch of refugees, but there is no war happening in either. Wars happening in those countries. These people are coming here to drain our system, and they're bringing drugs and violence. How do you respond to the president?
Well, the president is exactly right. The numbers that I read are 80% young men younger than 35 years old. Amazing. The pictures of them show that they're healthy, they're strong, they're well-dressed, they're well-equipped. The Mexican police are assisting them as they drive up here. It's not a bunch of people who are in starvation. They don't come from war-torn countries. They come from poor countries, to be sure, and impoverished. But it is not the job of the United States nor the American taxpayer to spread the wealth all over the globe. But this is exactly, and that's why Obama said what he did, because his mantra is spread the wealth, take from you and give to someone else. And they don't mean simply Americans. They mean globally. They do not like America. Obama does not like America. They don't like America as was, just as Andrew Cuomo said. He says America was never great. They don't believe that. The liberals do not believe America has been, ever was, a great nation. But, here's something else, Jesse, I wanted to mention, and that is that what makes America great is the fact not only of liberty, but it is liberty under law. And not only liberty under law, but what gives us liberty, what enables us to have liberty, and that is personal responsibility. Yeah. That is godliness. Godliness and virtue, morality and virtue are the keys. Our founding fathers said if we're not virtuous, if we're not moral people, then we will not be people who are free. You cannot have freedom without virtue and morality. This caravan, as well as all the others coming up, and many of the people that are already coming in, are changing not only the demographics, but they're changing the culture of America. We will not be a free people because we do not have the virtue and the morality any longer. That's what's at stake here. It will be the end of America as we know it.
Amazing. And one more I want to get in. The President Trump says, we're sending the military, no more catch and release.
We have a very strong border. I called up the military. This caravan is not, they're wasting their time. They are not coming into the country.
What's the military going to be able to do? Obama and Bush both sent the National Guard. But it had no effect.
They're not me. I'm sending up the military. This is the military. And they're standing there. And one thing that will happen.
No lethal force.
When they're captured, we don't let them out. What has been happening, and we're not as of pretty recently, we're not letting them out. What happens is they would catch and release. We're catching. We're not releasing. So if they want to come over, but we're not even doing that. We're not letting them into this country.
Amazing. You got to love this man.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, the president has the authority even to shut the border down. Why not? We have 22 million illegals. They are not assimilating. You go to a city like Detroit, and you will read signs in Arabic as well as English. You go to South Texas, you'll read signs in Spanish. They're not assimilating. And we have 22 million already that have not assimilated. They don't plan on assimilating. They're simply here to drain the socialistic welfare state that we have in place. And President Trump has every right under the U.S. Code to shut the border down and say this is a crisis, and indeed it is.
Yes. You know, it's nice to hear them admitting that there are more than 11 million. For 29 years, they were saying 11 million. And I've always known that.
We've known that.
Yeah.
You and I talked about that. Yeah.
That there were more than 11. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say there are many more than 11 million. You know, Jesse, I grew up in Arizona, as you know, and as long as I can remember, the people in Arizona, and as well as Texas, where I now reside, have been crying for the government to close the borders to illegal immigration.
Yeah.
But the government has not the will nor the backbone to do it, and I think only President Trump has the backbone to do it.
That's right. So, Bill, there are not all, but most black people think that white people are afraid of them. I interviewed a young black guy from one of the local universities out of the Black Student Union. He said that the white man is keeping the black man down because they know that black people are stronger and smarter and all that crap, and that they're deliberately keeping them down. What do you say to that?
You know what, Jesse? I mean, that's a sad commentary on our culture. But the whites have been taught to hate the white culture, to hate the Caucasian race, to hate the way that America was founded, to despise the founding fathers. I remember, in Philadelphia, I mean, tour guides going to the Constitution Hall and showing pictures to school children of the framers of our Constitution and say, you know, what do you notice about the picture? And they'll say they're all white men. And the point is to denigrate our founding. And that's exactly what they're being taught in colleges. And the white people have gotten to the point where we just almost despise Caucasian, despise everything European. And that's designed by the liberals and to destroy our country, to mix it up here. And I think the blacks, and many of them, are taking advantage of it. Yeah.
They're also teaching that to the illegal aliens when they get here. They're teaching that to everybody. And I would love to see white Americans overcome the fear and just stand up and be Americans and don't worry about what they think or say about them.
That would be wonderful if people would do that. I mean, just like you have always quoted, perfect love casts out fear.
Yeah.
Just stand for the truth. Here's something else interesting, and that is one of the leaders of this caravan has pointedly stated that this is a socialist revolution. This is what this is. They're against the capitalistic society and what they call the capitalistic exploitation of people. And that, of course, that's the communistic attack on America. That's what this is. It is a communist attack on American sovereignty, and we better stop it now, or we are history as a nation.
This is why I say, Bill, you're one of the smartest white men on this side of heaven. We need more like that.
I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Bill.
Huh?
Thank you so much for coming on.
You bet. Thank you so much for having me, Jesse. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk again soon.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right. Take care.
Okay.